I'm Raquel Baldelomar, and I'm a Forbes leadership contributor, and today I'm here with world-renowned voice coach Roger Love. Did you know that you only have a few seconds when you start speaking before people begin to make value judgments about you? Your voice will affect whether people want to listen to you, whether people trust you, and whether you can motivate them to take action. Knowing how to control the pitch, pace, tone, volume, and melody of your voice will not only help you magnify the impact of your words, it will also help you become a great leader. When speakers, singers, and actors want to learn how to inspire an audience and evoke an emotional response from people, they often turn to Roger. He has coached business speakers such as Tony Robbins and Susie Orman, and has vocally produced more than 100 million CD sales worldwide, and is the author of the current best-selling book, Set Your Voice Free. He has coached singers such as Gwen Stefani, John Mayer, and Selena Gomez, as well as film actors such as Reese Witherspoon, Joaquin Phoenix, Jeff Bridges, Colin Farrell, and Keira Knightley. Today, Roger is here to share his expertise on how business leaders can improve their speaking voice and become more effective communicators. Welcome, Roger.
Thank you so much.
Let's talk about the tone of your voice and how the tone of your voice affects business communication. When you're trying to persuade a business audience, usually you're trying to sell something. How can you use your voice to sell your product or service?
First of all, tone means how much air or how much edge you have. So if I talk like this, that would be a 1 on the tone scale. Mm-hmm. And if I spoke like this, super airy, that would be a 10 on the tone scale. So I break the building blocks of voice, what I call the different sections of voice, into pitch, pace, tone, melody, and volume. And tone, I say, is the amount of air. So a lot of people are coming into business meetings and business discussions trying to sound loving, caring, sweet, and they add a lot of air to the voice as if they were a therapist or a doctor. I can fix that. I'm sorry. I really want you to buy this project, so I'll add a lot of air. But air is the weakest sound that you can possibly use in a business deal because air dissipates in the air. And when you have an airy voice, the other people are not thinking, wow, you're sexy, I want to give you all my money. They're thinking, wow, you're weak. You couldn't possibly run the company. I couldn't possibly invest that much money in your idea. So people are adding too much air generally. Then on the other extreme, people are talking a lot like this. Their tone is what we call a squeaky hinge, where it's only just the vocal cords rubbing together without any air. And you say, I don't do that, Roger. And I'm like, yes, you do. People do it at the ends of sentences. They start out a sentence and then they run out of air. And they go to the next sentence and then they run out of air. And this sound, that squeaky hinge, that tone, is basically telling people subconsciously that you're weak. You don't have any power. You don't have any strength. You're not rooted. Because when you make that sound, there's no air coming out of you. And so then they don't feel you.
How can someone's voice catapult them from being a good leader to a great leader?
Most people's voices do not showcase the very best of themselves. So you might be the smartest person, but if you're using descending scales, you don't sound that smart. You just sound sad. You might be the most passionate person, but if you don't have enough volume, you're being perceived as weak and powerless and passionless. You might have all of the knowledge to do this business deal, but if you speak with one note, monotone the whole time, then they don't think you're creative enough to deal with the problems that are going to happen during the business deal. They don't think you're smart enough or creative enough. So what people don't realize is that specific sounds are tied to impressions. So airy voices are tied to weakness. Monotone voices that don't have any melody, are tied to me thinking you're not creative. People who speak really slow are creating perceptions that their brains aren't working fast enough. And then if you speak really slow, the people listening to you think that you don't have high intelligence because you can't even get the words out. So there are all these really specific sounds that we're making. So how do you do better in business? Showcase what you want to showcase. of the best of yourself. If you need to be the smartest person in the room to make that deal, you better sound like the smartest person. You have to have a certain amount of volume. You have to have a certain amount of melody to show you're creative. You have to not fill the spaces with ums, and likes, fillers. You have to make sounds. If you're working at a charity and your business is trying to get money for people to fund your charity, but you can't create a voice that inspires people and moves them to action because your voice is too weak, your voice is emotionless, how are you going to do any business?
Most people think that if they're in the business world, they don't need to be necessarily creative or artistic. Talk about why it's important to have a melodic voice.
People don't do business with you or buy your product because of the product. They buy your product, they hire you for the job because they like you and want to be around you. And hopefully they want to be more like you because they believe in you. People buy your product if they believe the same things you believe. I'm going to buy life insurance from someone that I actually enjoy talking to on the phone for at least 15 minutes when I'm talking about life insurance. People are going to want to do business with me if I move them emotionally and they feel like we share the same values. You cannot convince anyone how special you are if your voice, which is like a giant billboard, loudspeaker, is not showcasing who you are, what you believe, the positive things about you. But statistics say that the words you use only count for less than 7% of whether or not you believe me, trust me, like me, and are engaged by me. So, and I think it's less than 7%. We live in a world that is preoccupied with business people who think if they had the right words, if they had the right PowerPoint presentation with the words attached, they could convince people of things. But the words don't matter. The sounds you make aside from the words, the pitch, the pace, the tone, the melodies, and the volumes, then when you have the figures to support that as support, then it's a deal.
Why is how you say something more important than what you say?
How you say something is the sound of the voice. Whether it has melody, whether it has volume changes, the speed of it. Those things are more directly linked in your brain to emotions. So music and the way that I have people speak, which is musical, goes to another part of the brain, a part that is deeper storage. Once that's attached to words, boom, I'm going into the creative side of your brain. The creative side of your brain will share it with the logical side of your brain and think, I feel something. And then you'll think, what does he mean by that? And then you'll process the words in a completely different way. And people don't remember the words you say to them, but they remember the way you make them feel. And the voice, sound, is the way to make them feel because that goes to the creative side of their brain.
That's beautiful.
And true, and scientifically proven.
Let's talk about some practical advice for helping business executives improve their pitch, their tone, their melody.
Right now, without any musical knowledge, you don't have to have played the piano or the oboe or the violin or the guitar. Right now, most people, when they speak, what's stopping them from sounding musical is that they are holding their breath when they speak. They don't know how to breathe, and then most specifically, they don't know how to breathe out. So let me teach you, okay? We live in a world where people breathe like this, where we open our mouths because we have a big hole there. We open our mouths, and we raise our chest and shoulders thinking that we have lungs up there, and then we exhale. And that's called accessory breathing. That's the way to get the least amount of air into your lungs, and that's the way to have the least control of how air comes back out. We are born to only breathe in through the nose. Take a breath in with your mouth like this. Do you feel how dry that makes the back part of your throat? So you're wondering why halfway into your business day, you're already hoarse. It's because you're breathing into your mouth. There are filters in the nose called turbinates, And when you breathe in through the nose, which is the way babies breathe, it passes through those filters and it becomes moist air. Now you're going to be able to speak all day and not lose your voice. Once you breathe in through your nose, stop raising your chest and shoulders and pretend that you have a balloon in your abdomen. So the air that I take in is going to fill up this imaginary balloon that I have. So you breathe in through your nose, you pretend you have a balloon in your tummy, and then here's the secret. I'm only supposed to speak while my stomach is coming in. Now this is your accelerator pedal. And this pushes the air to the vocal cords and out of the mouth. And anyone can do that. You just have to practice. Most people are holding their breath when they speak. They should learn to speak while the air is coming out.
So think of your stomach as an accordion. You have to fill it up, and you have to expand it, and then bring it back in.
Exactly right. And that's the only way to create the volume you need. That's the only way to help create the melody. That's the only way to get out of squeaky hinge.
Let's talk about melody. I want you to give us practical advice on how somebody who has no voice training experience, how they can improve the melody of their speaking voice.
Here's a really interesting thing. Melodies really have three directions. I'm either walking up the stairs, so I go, here I am on a low pitch, I'm speaking to you, and now I'm walking up the stairs from a low note to a high note, or I'm walking down the stairs. Now I'm walking down the stairs, or I'm on the same step, just standing on the landing. Science proves that when you hear people using descending melodies, I really like golf. When they go down, they sound like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. So when you go from high to low, you're actually making people sad. You're making them think that you're sad, and then you're making them sad. But when you go from low to high, when you go from, I really like golf, I love red shirts, I go from low to high, it makes people realize that you're happy, or at least think that you're happy, and it makes them happy. Don't go down in melody when you get to a comma or a period. And you're like, Roger, I just told you I'm not a virtuoso singer. How would I know how to do that? Well, you know how to go up when you get to a question mark. We've been trained with that. Do you like chocolate? Do you like blondes? Do you like money? We've been taught that when we get to a question mark, we're supposed to go up. So for right now, the simplest step is make more things as if they were questions.
Let's talk about pitch and the range that a business executive should have when speaking. So what's a practical advice to give somebody who has no voice training experience, how to improve their range?
Perfect. Fantastic question. Range means that if I'm either a piano that has two notes, a little white one and a little black one, or I'm a piano that has 88 notes. When we are young little boys and girls, we are in exactly the same range. Our voices are in the same place, as if we were the same piano. You with me? Same notes. Okay. And then puberty happens, and what happens? The male voice all of a sudden drops down here. This moment before the voice change, I believe it's easier for people to communicate across genders. So, little boys and girls have no problem communicating. Then when the voice drops and the man's down low, now I believe there's a separation. And then what happens as they grow older? The man usually stays down low. I'm the man. I'm a businessman, so I'm going to stay down low. Chest voice, that's called. And the woman stays up high a lot of the times, trying to sound feminine and beautiful, and then what? Sometimes she goes into a meeting with a bunch of guys, and what does she do? Should I speak low? Should I try to sound like a guy? Should I speak high? Should I sound like a girl? She doesn't know. Which basically, there's a part of the range where the top part of the male voice exists, and the lower part of the female voice exists, and they have like an overlapping frequencies. And so, that's why I teach that you have to have chest voice down low. Here I am in my chest voice down low, and men and women have that. Head voice on the top, way up here. And men and women have it, even though men don't usually do that. But then there's a secret voice that I've learned about where I have these overlapping frequencies called middle voice. Check this out, chest, head voice, middle, And when I show speakers that they need to learn about all three voices so that they can have the range they need to communicate with men and women, they were like, why would I need that? And I'm like, you need it because every voice of the three, chest, middle, and head, they have certain sounds, and those sounds are associated with certain emotions. They make people feel a certain way. So great business leaders and communicators and teachers and doctors and parents, they need to have all three voices so that I can go anywhere I want in the range and have sounds that are rooted in this. We're going into battle today. You're going to sign the check today. I need that $10 million because this is the way. To middle voices, which are exciting and goosebumps on your arms, to head voice sounds, which are beautiful and sweet and kind. So you need it all.
What's the easiest way for somebody to find their own middle voice?
The best way is for them to literally play around with some of the exercises that I teach. You can buy Set Your Voice Free. It comes along with a website that has 70 audio samples and exercises that you're going to practice with. You can do it that. You can go to rogerlove.com. You can get free exercises. You can get free videos. The goal is to first understand that there's a lot to the voice you don't know about. And maybe after you've gotten the right haircut and gotten the right degree from the business school and have the right office and are wearing the right clothes, maybe you still are not communicating in a way that is making you an amazing communicator and an amazing, successful person.
Last question I want to ask you is, how can business executives create greater musicality to their voice?
Realize that they need more melody, that when they record themselves, they're actually just hitting the same note over and over. Even the ones that have a lot of personality are only using a couple of notes. And that just like a song, you need to craft it in a way that has more melodies, that take people more emotionally on a journey. Business people need more volume, more melody, better breathing, and they need to realize that they could get all that in half an hour or an hour of their focused time and then get used to it. They need to bounce that voice off of people, see how others react to them, and they'll never go back to just being one note on a piano, thinking that they're closing the deal because of their data.
That's right. Thank you so much. Everyone, rogerlove.com, setyourvoicefree.com, and you're also having a seminar.
Yes,
in a few weeks.
Seminar in a few weeks. It's all sold out. Voice of Success.
Okay.
If you want to learn about it for next year, because it's all sold out now, you can go to voiceofsuccess2017.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Roger. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, and until next time.